So we're here today. I've got a lift that I just put together. This is an APlusLift MT1500. So it says it's a 24-inch by 110-inch lift table. We got the side extension kit with it. Came with a jack and all that good stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of a review on this compared to what I was using before as a Handy 1,000-pound lift. Now this one's rated for 1,500 pounds. Straight out of the box, the kind of impression I have is that the paint doesn't really look nearly as nice as the Handy paint. I haven't done a whole lot to it, and already over here I've got some pretty good scratches where it's already worn pretty much all the way off, and that was barely touching it with putting the access panel up. I do like the feature here that it pulls up your safety bar underneath if you've got it locked down, so you don't have to bend back under. All you've got to do is come up top and go ahead and pull that and lock it back up. So that's great, but it does kind of sit right here where your approach ramp goes, and I can see that either A, getting caught on a deck as I pull it up here, or B, just completely getting sliced off when that rubs right into the side of it. So I'm not sure that that's going to last real long, but that's a handy feature for sure. This one has an extra pole going through, an extra support bar going through for the side extensions. The Handy only has two. It's got one about here and then one up front, kind of like this does. This one has two half bars in the back that just go from here to here. Now the ramp and everything pretty much seems the same if you're looking between the two models. There doesn't look to be a whole lot of difference. Now this one does have an extension that just bolts on the front. On here it does claim, as we're going through the paperwork, claims 110 inches from the end after the approach to the outside edge. Now that's not even close as I measure anyway. So if you're looking for something for an extremely long cruiser or something like that, and you need it to be 110 inches, this may not be the unit for you. If we go down from the end down to the edge here, we're basically 96 inches, just a little over 96 and a half. Now if we add the extension like it says, or the front wheel chalk piece, see, that doesn't even want to go in there either. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get a hammer. There's a few of these that work. Yeah, so it didn't want to go in there real well. But that's about where the setting is. Now even with that, as we come to the end, at the edge, we're basically 102 inches. So as it shows in here, it's showing from the end to the edge here, and I wonder if that could be extended out further. As I'm looking, it can be. So you can, I guess, extend this table out even further out and get that maybe 110 inches out. For me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I'm going to be pulling tractors and stuff through on this, so I didn't realize those other holes were a little further back, and you can line those up. So that may give you the full 110 inches. You just move this attachment plate out some. So I was thinking it was just super short, but apparently that's not the case. Now as I'm looking at it all here, as I got it out of the box and looked at everything, a lot of it looks exactly the same as the Handy lift. There were a few notable differences though as I'm looking. When I pulled it out, at the bottom everything looks pretty much the same. Now on my Handy, it's also got some grease zerks here, which it does come with to install on this. I haven't installed it yet. On the bottom, my Handy came with a square tube. This comes with just a piece of pipe. Now I added these bolts so it doesn't slide back and forth as much. It didn't come with any of those in the hardware kit, so you may want to have some extra hardware on hand. This is just like a quarter 20 carriage bolt and nut I put on both sides just so that bar can't slide in and out. But as far as the uprights go here, when I was looking at them, they didn't look nearly as beefy as the Handys. So I'm gonna do a little measuring here. So Looks like we're about 3/4 of an inch on there. And we'll measure Handy's and see what it is. The metal seems pretty thick. I did put a mic on it. It's about 2 millimeters, so it's a nice solid thick metal. And the ram seems just as big as the Handy's does. So it seems like this thing is gonna hold up, but I've had some things on the Handy that I've pushed pretty hard and probably way above what they should have been as far as weights go, but that upright bar kind of scares me because looking at it down there, it looks a lot thinner than the Handy's does. Now, when I put a mic on the Handy unit, it came at about 1.63 millimeters, so it is definitely thicker metal, at least for the table part, than the Handy is. So maybe that's where it comes into play, where it's an extra 500 pounds. Now, I've probably had a good 2,000 pounds on this thing and never had any issues. The bar here, again, it's a little bit different. It's square as it comes out. But as I'm looking at the uprights here, you can see just how much thicker that is straight off the top. I mean, that's a lot thicker of a metal just visually, and we're at a solid inch on our upright. Now, looking up underneath at the ram, pretty much the same ram design, a little bit different, but it's got the greaser. It's a little bit different design there also, but pretty much the same unit. Now, again, this is kind of a lot thinner, but it's the same design. I did like with the APlusLift, it came with the skateboard tape for the approach ramp. That was nice, but it didn't seem like the ramp fit on there real well. So, and again, this only has the 2 pieces. I guess it's one in the back that goes all the way through and one in the front as far as for the side extensions. It doesn't have a middle one. So maybe that's where they get a little bit more of the unit at, or a little bit more of the weight limit at. But pretty much exactly the same as far as the rest of the design goes. I mean, very, very few differences. The bar design, everything else on this Handy S.A.M 1000 versus the APlusLift 1500. Now again, on that 1500 APlusLift, I did like that, I think it's like a skateboard deck tape that they have that's on the approach. That's nice, but just looking at it right here, it just, I don't know, it almost looks already bowed, you know? I mean, that's just the ramp we're looking at right this second, but if we take the ramp off, when I have the ramp off of the unit here, the approach ramp just comes up and out. It's about the same weight as the other one, I think. I don't think it's any heavier. But if we're looking at it here, it almost looks like it has a bend to it. Like it, you know, bends down some from side to side. The paint doesn't look real well. It doesn't look nearly like it's going to hold up nearly as well as the other. It looks like the access panel's painted nice. It looks like it's all nice and powder coated. But it looks like everything else is just kind of a cheap quality finish. And you can see all these marks in it everywhere. I don't know if those are micro weld marks or if they use like a, well, what's it called? I can't even remember right this second, but some sort of contact welding, and that's where it's going through. It's almost what it seems like, where you're seeing the weld marks go through, but it just doesn't look nearly as clean as what the Handy S.A.M does. Now, if I would have been able to find the Handy S.A.M, I would have bought the same unit. It's been a great unit for me. This here, you can also see there's a line straight down the middle. It almost looks like it's curved, you know, like higher in the middle and goes off to each side. I do like the extension at the front here. I think that'll be great for people, again, with like cruisers and things like that. And I think it's going to be good for me to pull up on it and be able to jack off the front, you know, jack up from here to the back a little bit. Give me a little bit more room to work with, but at this point, I'm not 100% sure that I like it or not. Now it is, if we go all the way up and show you an up-down, that's already pulled up. Now I really like the foot pedal on this. I actually bought one of these replacement pedals for my other lift quite a while ago. They're just super nice. Now the other one dropped quite a bit faster. I'm not sure exactly. I like that it's not quite as loud as the other one as far as dropping goes. So it's, I would say, about the same height off the ground. I don't think this one's any taller or anything like that. I do love how quick they go up though. That's real time, you know, less than 100 pounds, maybe 90 psi, 85 psi of force. But for all intents and purposes, these are pretty much the same machines. There's a few subtle differences, and what I kind of worry about again is that upright and how wide it is. But I think if it's rated for 1,500 pounds, hopefully it's good for more than that, like the Handy S.A.M is. You know, because I've had a lot of weight on that thing before and it's never let me down. But just a couple things to look out for, a couple differences to look out for if you're thinking about purchasing one of these. Overall, I think it's going to be a great lift for me, but just a couple things I wasn't real satisfied with straight out of the box. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe.